Good thing. I've got a related question from Shanks in the audience. Perhaps you could just put your question at this point.
Yeah, my name's Shanks and I'm a resident in Bristol and an architect, and I've set up an organisation called UWE Easton, and we're doing a regeneration document, sort of community-led from sort of grassroots, on a deprived inner-city ward just sort of by the city centre in Bristol. And we've been looking at lots of different ways to effectively engage and involve the community. And actually, we have done things like sort of food foddles, where we've got local residents. Food foddles.
Food foddles, right.
Where we're sort of exchanging food with local residents. We've got a sort of very large Somalian community. And so we're trying to bring people in through the idea of food. But that's, one of very many methods that we're trying to use to engage different people in the community. We've also found that sort of Somalian women in the community haven't come and engaged with us in any way or wanted to be involved in the sort of visions and aspirations for the area. So what we have done is to actually go to workshops within their organisations and within workshops that they are part of to engage with them. So I think there are methods that we can use to be more effective, but it's working out where there are barriers and where there are areas where we need to where there's situations which we could work towards making better and try and find out where these people can be reached, really.
So rather than setting up events for the community to engage with, actually using events that are going to be happening anyway and building on those.
Using both methods, really. But I think we're in a really exciting stage in terms of community involvement and I think there's a lot of stuff happening around the country and how we can engage with people and a lot happening from the sort of grassroots. So it's a really exciting time.
Right, thank you. Craig, you work all around the UK.
Yes, and I think what you're doing with UWE Easton is fantastic, because the risk is you have self-selected groups. Our work is a lot in education, and you will get parents who want to be involved in that, and that's a self-selected group, and they're motivated to do that. We're also interested in finding those who are voiceless or willfully silent. They really don't want to be part of it. And that's quite difficult, because actually the willfully silent can come up later and ambush you because they haven't done what they wanted to be done. So how do we do that? And I think what we do is the event. Not everybody, as I'm sure there are people who've got questions they would like to ask but can't voice them now. They might want to come up to us afterwards and ask those questions, because the public setting for a lot of these engagements actually can restrict people's willingness to talk. So you have to get out. You have to do what you're doing. And in schools, the one place we can meet parents is drop-off time. So we stand in playgrounds and ambush parents. We do it at pick-up. And we also try to understand from the school what are lots of single-parent families. Actually, the timing of when you can get to speak to them is very critical, because it's around work and it's around their children's pick-up times. And then we actually use marketing techniques. We do postcode mail-outs. And from some of the consultation we've got, some themes might emerge, and there might be 4 or 5 of those, and we send those out. But we've always also got the other box. And we get a 15 to 20% return rate, which in marketing terms you would normally expect about 3% return. And so actually not everybody is willfully silent or voiceless, but the means by which you can get them to start expressing their wants, needs and desires requires more work. And I think creativity in engagement is where it's going to be at.
Okay, I'm looking at the audience to see if I've got any views or experiences they want to share with us at the moment.
The willfully silent.
I think we've got a good cross-section of them.
No, we have a question.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't see you there.
Just wanted to say that the word marketing came up in this conversation several times already. And if we look at the development as a product that developers and planners are producing and will be used in future, I think it is very interesting that we can look at drawing from marketing techniques that businesses are using in present, and the techniques that have been developed so well in the past 10, 20 years to actually get tangible results of community involvement as a marketing process in planning.
Thank you for that. Jeff, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I mean, marketing, that word marketing always comes with baggage, doesn't it? It comes with the baggage of spin and persuading people to buy things they're not interested in, all that sort of stuff. But actually, marketing approaches offer us an awful lot, and I've learned an awful lot from good marketing people in the last few years. And classically, all the examples, I think most of the examples we've heard about so far are examples of where they, the authorities, the developer or whatever, is going out to, if you like, persuade people into what they are presenting to them. Good marketing people have taught me some of the skills about finding out what it is that people want and need and aspire to out there, how to talk, we come back to the methods bit, how to talk in their language, how to engage with that, how to pull that together in a sense with what one can offer as developer, planner or whatever, and pull that. And there really are some important things. It's a very important thing I do in a lot of my training, is getting people to completely reverse their psychology and think out there to what people are asking for, wanting to and aspire to, and then relate it to what, in a sense, you're able to bring them, instead of trying to impose what you want on them. So I've learned a lot from good marketing people, but watch out for the spin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Barry, have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about marketing that you know, you speak to people who do marketing, one of the things they get you to do right at the, you know, the very start is to ask, why aren't people buying that product? And actually, that's a really good question. And I think we need to ask that about the community. You know, why aren't they turning up when they're not turning up? Why is it just the usual suspects, you know, turn up? And I think there are all sorts of reasons for that. It's a really multifaceted issue. You know, some people don't turn up because they're not actually interested. They've got other priorities, you know, they've got the kids to look after in the evening, you know, they can't be bothered to turn out to a community involvement event. Some people feel very uncomfortable with the built environment, architecture, planning, government, and we've got to try and get over that obstacle to get more people involved, you know. For some people it's just inconvenient, you know, if you hold a community involvement event in the town hall, miles from anywhere, and you wonder why people aren't turning up, well, there's a very good reason, isn't there? So I think the good thing about a marketing approach is it gets you to unravel all that stuff. But you know, the one thing that worries me about the way community involvement has been organised is that we kind of see it as a particular project which is defined in time. So you have something to consult about or to get involved about. You decide what that is. You go out to the community and you get their views and you write up the report afterwards, and maybe if you're very good you give them some feedback, and then you go on to the next job. Or to me, what we've got to be really thinking about is embedding community involvement, you know, so that it becomes for all of us a part of our everyday lives. You know, it's not just something we occasionally have to get involved in. We see it almost as a burden. I mean, I'll give you a couple of examples. Not a million miles away from here is a community called Loch Lees, and this is a, you know, not to be saying anything wrong about the Loch Lees community, but it's a former council estate community, had no record at all of ever getting involved in decisions, in local government decisions. And whenever the local authority wanted to put on a community involvement event, nobody would turn up. So we decided to be a bit more proactive and say, they're not interested in just a one-off thing. Let's see if we can really embed community involvement in this community. And we started off small. This is planning aid. We hired the local community centre one Tuesday evening. We advertised an open meeting. Come and talk about the future of your community. I think we had 7 people turn up to our first meeting after, you know, sending around 2,500 leaflets, knocking on doors, you know, telling everybody. We were really enthused about it, but clearly the community wasn't. But, you know, we then said, let's not give up on this community, let's keep doing this. And you've got to be really tenacious with community involvement. And every month we had an open meeting in that hall, that same hall, and people got to know. gradually. And now, when we have open meetings of Lockley's Voice, as it's become, people are turning up, in their droves. Not all the time, but we've had a complete turnover of people. Virtually everybody in the community has got involved in some way at some time. And I think that's what we've got to be starting to think about in community involvement, really embedding it and not just thinking of it as a one-off product.